Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me for another card... Oh, it's not a card making video. It's not a card making video. I'm doing a 3D project today. I don't usually do 3D projects. This is for the Inspire Create Design Team Challenge. And I've got to make anything but a card. So I have made a gift box. And you wouldn't believe how many trial runs I've done. So I'll try and make sure this is right for you on camera. So we're going to give it another whirl, live, lights, action, to replicate what I've made here. I'll show you what's inside in a minute. But the products that I'm using are the Painted Lavender stamp set and the Perennial Postage stamp set and coordinating dies. These are actually part of a whole suite of products in the current mini catalogue, so check it out. You can get it all, and obviously the bundles you save 10% on as well. So that's what we're using today to decorate. And then I've got this fantastic ribbon which is Pretty Peacock and Gold, and it's got like a mesh sort of texture to it. It's sort of slightly see-through, okay, not a tight weave or anything, okay, and just sort of glistens away there. And I've just put a couple of these lovely little foil, I think they're called foil gems or something, iridescent foil gems, that's what they're called, on there, just to sort of, you know, jazz it up a bit. So basically, yeah, we can untie our bow, she says, and we can get into our project. This one ties quite tight, evidently, so let's just get a poker tool on here, and obviously the person receiving this is going to just get this open, aren't they? You know, it's not really designed to be retied, I guess. Okay, so gosh, I did tie that tight. Okay, anyhow, so once you get it open and untie the ribbon, it slides out like a matchbox. Okay, so there's a band to make, okay, and then inside I've just got some little bath goodies, okay, and then we're going to make a base that's got a segmented base into it. Okay, I suppose that's optional, probably don't need it necessarily, but I thought it was just an added extra just to sort of pop in there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I've only got one set of those, so we're just going to pop this back together, and it just sort of slides. I actually managed to do it, so it slides in quite nicely. So yeah, and then the little sentiment thing, it's got the dimensionals either side, which means the ribbon slips underneath. So in theory it can be retied, whether you would or not, I don't know, but that's what we're aiming for. Okay, in fact, shall we just get it retied so that we've got something at the end to compare. Okay, so it's a bit harder to do when it's empty, because there's no weight to help you kind of keep it all sort of secure. Okay, and then I tend to wrap it under and over the little cross-section bit there as well, just so that it sort of sits nice, but you don't have to do that. So just for purposes of this, I'll show you what I do on the other one. So here we go, fuss and faff, and then there we go. You can just kind of adjust that a little bit so it looks a bit more central. Okay, so that's what we're aiming for, kinda. Okay, and of course we'll do it in different colours. So I'm still going to use Very Vanilla cardstock. I don't use Very Vanilla either very often, so that's the cardstock that I'm using to decorate that up. Sorry, to build that up. So we're going to bring in something I don't usually use, is a Simply Scored board. So You can totally do all the scoring on a trimmer as well. So with the trimmer, you'll know I cut and score all my cards. So it comes with 2 blades, the dark blade with the arrow on it, actually cutting blade, but this grey blade is, well, say it's a blade, it's more of a, it's got like this rounded sort of blade on it which scores your cardstock. So you can score with this if you want to, but I figured I'd bring in my Simply Scored. It just makes things just a little teensy bit easier, but like I say, it's entirely up to you. So the box base is actually a reinforced box. Okay, and forgive me, I have cheated a little bit. I have done a bit of the scoring ahead of time just to make sure it all worked. But this box base, this piece of cardstock measures 8 1/4 by 3 3/4. So essentially, I had grid paper out and I was lining up my bottles and measuring how high they need to be and all that kind of stuff. And basically, the depth of these is about 1 1/8. An inch was just too snug, and 1 1/4 was just a little bit too loose. So I have gone with 1 1/8. And of course, that's going to depend on what you're putting in. Okay, so whatever your circumference of that is, that's how, with a bit of wriggle room, you're going to need for that. So for these particular little bits and bobs, I wanted it to be 1 1/8 of an inch. So that centre panel that's in there, which you may or may not be able to see, yeah, okay, so we've got the centre panel just here. Okay, we want 1 1/8 either side for the depth, and then we want an extra 1 1/8 to fold over to make that double thickness edge around it. Okay, and we've done that on all 4 sides. So we start off with 8 3/4 by 6 3/4. So I'm going to pop that in, and on all 4 sides you're going to do 1 1/8. And of course I've already scored this, and so it's not going to play very well. Okay, 1 1/8. And 2 1/4, and you're going to do that all the way around because you want it nice and even. Okay, so it's your overall cardstock. That means that you end up with a rectangular bit in the centre. So 1 1/8 and 2 1/4 all the way around. Okay, so that's what we'll end up with, and that centre portion should be approximately the right size for your stuff that you're putting in. And that's how you'll know if you've done it wrong, right there. Okay, so that's the box base. The insert that we're going to make, we've got a piece of cardstock that's 4 1/2 by 3 3/4, and again it's 1 1/8 and 2 1/4. Okay, so just making sure you do that. I've already scored it, but you can flip that round to do the 1 1/8. And then this is going to be a mountain in the middle and a valley at the sides to make like a W shape, which will sit inside our box. And then we've got like a belly band thing that go round it. This is 3 3/4, which is the height of the box when it's finished. Okay, plus 1 1/8 either side, plus another 2 panels, which are the width of the box, just to give it some extra. So the bottom is going to have like a double layer on it, just to give it a bit more rigidity. Okay, so it's going to end up 2 1/4, yeah, 2 1/4 wide. Okay, so we're storing at 2 1/4. Okay, at 2 1/4 and 3 3/8, which is your 2 1/4 plus 1 1/8, and then if you do that the other side, 2 1/4, 3 3/8. You'll end up with your middle panel being even. Okay, alright, and that's going to become our band around the middle. And then we've got a double thickness for the base. Okay, and hopefully that will fit around the box that we actually make. She says. Okay, so the insert and the wrappy thing are reasonably straightforward, provided everything else fits together. Okay, cool. I've had to write down measurements and everything. I mean, this is like, oh, this is like hard work, because I don't know my card measurements. I just know, generally speaking, until I then go to tell you guys, and then it kind of just disappears from my head. But generally speaking, I know what I'm doing with those. Right, so to make a reinforced box, we've got all of these crazy score lines, which of course we need to fold and burnish. So let's just quickly do that, which is a lot easier to do before you do all the cutting, because it's a nice straight line. Okay. See, this is why I don't do 3D projects. They just hurt my brain just way too much. Okay, and then I get disappointed when things don't work out, and it just frustrates me. Even though I've put all this brain power into it, and then it still doesn't quite work out. So I really hope this works on camera now. Okay, so now we've done all that, we need to make the flaps. So ordinarily, if we can imagine for a moment, we've only got a single score line here, we'd make our flap out of this section. Okay, and that'd be it really. We need to be just mindful that we've got this other flap that we're going to fold in as well. Alright, okay, so what we are going to do is grab our paper snips, which are nice and sharp. Okay, and what so we're not going to need that corner at all, obviously, so there's nowhere for it to go. I'm going to cut away, or cut up to, the second score line on both of these. Oops. Okay. This will still end up being our tab, and we don't need this extra section either, so we're going to cut this away, but I'm just slightly wedging into that a little bit so that it folds over. Okay, and we don't need this bit, so I've cut away all three of those. Okay, this would have been our tab anyway, so we'll just put a little bit of a wedge on that one and cut away the score line on this, so just going up to the side of that and cutting it away, and that will give you in just a little bit of wriggle room to get that folded round. And this free flap that we've created at the bottom also needs just a little wedge out of this bottom section there. Wedge, 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 wedge. Okay, other side. This time we'll cut into the left of that score line. Straight up to the second score line, straight up to the second score line. Turn it round. Lock this off entirely, wedging in at the same time. Take off this square. Okay. Teeny wedge in this free flap, and then into your little tab there. Doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit. What it does is allow for that sort of extra card thickness, so it doesn't end up with not enough room, basically. That's the easiest way I can explain it. So same again on to the side. Okay, raise up that, raise up that. Okay, chop away with a wedge. I think I'm saying this out loud just for almost to remind myself what I've got to do as well. Little wedge and cut my tab. And other side. One more. Now this is the one where the score line went a bit wobbly, so should be fine. If this doesn't work, it's all because of this, okay? Oh man. Ooh. Just made that look really hard then, but it was just the little nut on the scissors would just got caught on the cardstock. Wedge that away, cut that off. Little wedge. And the tab. So there's no stamping on this bit, I've just left this plain. You could stamp on it if you want to, but it is the insert, so it's kind of the bit that gets hidden in the inside. So but it's up to you. If you want to stamp on that before you do anything, then go ahead. Get rid of all that scrap. Okay, so the theory is that we can still build it up like sort of like a normal box. Okay, and then we've got the extra flaps that can go on the inside to make it even stronger. Right, so you know me, I am a seal person. So I am popping some seal onto these external tabs here. And actually what I've ended up doing is doing that the other way, which means I now need to rub out this, and I can't find my eraser, so I'm just going to rub out that really good white eraser. Nothing special, but you know the brands, you know, that make the nice white pencil erasers. Comes away great. Okay, so I've put the glue on the tab on this side. I'm now going to flip it over. Those tabs aren't making contact with my surface. Do obviously, if you want something stronger, use Seal Plus. And then I'm running this on the inside of those. That's just come to the end of my snail seal there, so that was just in a bit. So that's going all the way around that base on that side, and then on the tabs on this side. Okay, right, so yeah, that's right. No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. So tabs fold in, bring the side up, and make it hopefully nice and square. Like so. Okay, and because we've just got that little line of glue, I mean, you might want to just put some on the outer flaps actually. So let's just change this. Oops. Get rid of that. Sometimes you get a build-up of the adhesive on the inside of your little, what's this called? Case, shell thing, whatever. And then we want to pop that back in, because I took it apart without thinking. Right, there we go. It only goes one way because the little spindles and the little holes are there. Okay, and you might just need to roll it on a little bit, But yeah, so you can still grab that and put a little bit of seal on these outer flaps as well if you want. Okay, and then we just need to bend those in and stick those down like so, and then you can just give that a nice sharp crease to get that edge nice as well, and just make sure we get a good bond like so. Okay, will they fit? I know the insert's not in yet. Hallelujah. Right. Okay. I'm so pleased. Okie dokie. Right. So this little W shape that we made. Okay. Didn't burnish those, so let's just give those a burnish. There. And again, before we glue anything in. Okay, because you might need to make some adjustments, okay, because we've got this double thickness. So whilst you think, oh, you know, you've measured it, of course it'll fit. Yeah, of course it'll fit. It sometimes just needs just a little bit of wriggle room, but actually, if I get the sides in, that's going to work. And then, yeah. Oh, thank goodness for that. It all fits so far. Anyway, so far. So it's this bit that needs the glue on it, and I'm just going to run that either side of these score lines, because that's where the rigidity will probably needs to be, and you can run some in the middle there just to help keep that nice and sharp. Give that another press. Okay, and like I say, I'm just going to pop this in. Totally optional, this bit, by the way, as well. So if you didn't want to put this in, then you wouldn't have to. Just making sure that those edges are all the way in, and then pressing it down. And again, you can use your bone folder or something just to secure that. And presto, we have our segmented base for our little goodies. Brilliant. Okay, I'm so pleased that that has worked out. Okay, this takes us back to our lovely our wrap now, which is kind of where the stamping's going to come in. So again, didn't reinforce these score lines, so let's just get those all nice and scored. So on this one, I actually only stamped on the 3 sides and left the base blank. Again, you know, it's your box, so do whatever you want to do with this. Going to use, I only used 1 stamp on that one. I feel like I want to jazz this up a little bit by using 2 stamps, and we're going to use a combination of boho blue, one of our in colours, and then I think we might bring in Starry Sky, simply because it's a retiring in colour. Let's do that. So we've got the 2 sort of shades of blue there. Okay, we'll start with boho blue, and in the lavender stamp set there's like a sort of fat bloom and a skinny bloom, so we'll use the bigger one first. Okay, and we're going to do some 1st and 2nd generation, or maybe even some 3rd generation ink. And you know what, if this doesn't actually, you know, sort of they don't always stamp perfectly, these flowers, it doesn't actually kind of show too much. And the odd boo-boo here and there isn't going to matter. So you've seen me do this before on my I did this fun fold card, which again was that was a outside the wheelhouse kind of project as well. I don't do many of them. So it did something similar with shades of purple, a bit more traditional, for the stamp set. But there's a few little gaps here and there, so I'm just going to wipe that off while I don't like leaving ink on stamps in between. I just like to try and get it off. And then I'll bring in the Starry Sky. Should just give it a, do you know what, I think I need more of that boho blue on the front there. That is the front. So I think I might pop another one here. And of course it dries back a little bit, so it comes, that looks darker, but once it dries it'll dry back. So I just felt like there was a gap that I didn't like. And then Starry Sky is going to be obviously quite a bit darker, but it might, actually I'll just go with full strength here and there, just to give it a bit of depth. And again, if it mis-stamps, it probably doesn't matter that much. And kind of make them a little bit at other angles as well. And I've just realised that one of these panels is going to get glued down, so probably don't need to stamp on that last panel because you're going to hide it. So yeah. Okay, I think that'll do. So we'll get all that ink off that. Starry Sky's got quite a bit of red undertone, a bit like Night of Navy. You don't really think it might have any red in it, but it does. Okay. So that's now nice and stamped. I did pop a butterfly on the other one as well, but you don't have to put that on. Entirely up to you where you go from here now. You could put some blending along the bottom and all sorts of things, okay? So it's entirely up to you whether you want to do anything more with that. Okay, but the big question will be, does it fit around my box? Please fit around my box. It's snug, but so might need to just not quite take it to the edge there. Okay, so that was worthwhile just checking that, otherwise I would have been annoyed that it didn't fit. Okay, alright, and actually just because we stamped across that bottom a little bit, that's not gonna show. Okay, so we'll pop that on there. In fact, we may as well just leave it in place. Just swizzle that round, that's probably easier for me as a lefty. You might want to use wet glue for this. Again, you know, use the glue of your choice. I just want to sort of demonstrate putting it together really. So if you wanted to use something a little stronger than that, then of course you can do so. Cool. Okay, and then it's cool. Haha! It slides out. Great. Okay, so there we go. We've got the basis of it right there. Okay, so as you might imagine, in this process, I've ended up with quite a bit of scraps of very vanilla cardstock. So this one might be good. This one will do our sentiment, I think. So from that painted lavender set, I've got, I might use the Starry Sky for the sentiment. And we'll pop that in there. and we will get this die cut, and this little postage stamp fits that nicely. It's all part of that bundled set, so just looking for that, because we've got the sending and best are in that sort of standard font, so use those as your guide to line it up and get your spacing how you want it. And we'll just quickly run that through the die cut machine. Okay. Oops. There we go. Nice and quick. And we're just going to pop our dimensional either end so that it'll kind of go over the ribbon that we're going to put on. Okay, but we'll do that after. Okay. I actually picked out the boho blue ribbon for this. I'm going to cut off a fair length of it though. It's got to go round and round. So of course, so that one's going to stick, well, the colour is going to stay around for a little while. Don't know whether the ribbon actually will stay in stock. Sometimes they change the ribbon, sometimes they don't. Okay, going to cross this over, so we're going to sort of make it go that way and then this way, so it sits flat. Okay, crisscross that over. The weight of the items will help keep that in place. You could make it higher up or lower down. You kind of, this is your opportunity to sort of get that where you want it. Okay, and then like I say, I find I can get a more secure bow. If you're tying this, you know, you haven't got someone else to help you tie the bow, slipping it either side of those cross pieces just means that you can tie your first knot more securely. She says making this look really, really difficult, but most of the time that works. Doing that. That's looking a little bit untidy for some reason. Maybe it's because it's so thick. Don't know. It's just not sitting as flat as I would like it to. Okay, but I have had success doing that before though. Okay, brain won't let me work out why that's going wrong, but you guys know how to tie a ribbon around a box, right? That's sitting a bit better. Make my loops. So I thought I'd cut off a real excessive amount of ribbon, but actually it's not totally bananas, the length of ribbon that I've cut. And it is much thicker ribbon than the that Pretty Peacock stuff that I was using on the other one, so that's possibly why it's behaving a little bit more unruly. Okay, and of course you can make that sort of sit how you want it to and mess about with it, and you know, retie it as much as you need to. Okay, so sometimes you need to pull it really small bow loops and then really give it a yank. Get your fingers inside there. Oh, that's it, that's got it a bit better. Okay, and then obviously just trim the ends to suit. Okay, and then this guy can sit once you've made sure it's all lined up. Is it over there? So obviously that can say thank you and whatever it needs to say, depending on what the purpose of the gift. I feel like I needed some more up there because it feels like all the decoration is at the bottom, which is why I kind of stamped that butterfly on that one. Okay, and then you could add some gems and things as well. Maybe just rhinestones for this one, because it's this nice blue colour. Maybe just rhinestones for this. Put my pokey tool down. Where's that gone? There it is. So they'll kind of be these little hidden surprises on your box. Okay, so just 3 of those, just to sort of decorate that up a little bit. Okay, but that's it. So sliding box, I'm not undoing it again. But I hope that's sort of giving you an idea anyway. Say just not my usual thing to make, but hopefully you've enjoyed watching that. Painted lavender and perennial postage were the sets that I've used to do the decorating. This one's just Pretty Peacock, basically, just monochromatic, both in Very Vanilla. And then this one I used a combination of Boho Blue and Starry Sky. Okay, all on Very Vanilla as well. Alright, and then coordinating ribbon. So, of course, you know, make this however you want, for whatever you're gifting. This is part of the Inspire Create Challenge, so do check out what everyone else has made for their Anything But a Card project. I'm sure they'll have some really fantastic ideas, because they do those kind of projects more often than I do. Thanks ever so much for sticking with me today. Much longer video, but I hope it's been useful and you've enjoyed it. Take care, stay safe, I'll see you soon. Bye.